Michael Harrowven, HTS, 2 years on, nearly two years on. Are you where you hoped you would be 2 years on?
Yeah, we are. I think the word hope is always an interesting phrase. It's planned to be there, but also there's clearly more that we can do. That's the key point. But to answer specifically, yes, we are where we wanted to be.
So for the uninitiated, etc., because people in Harlow will see your vans and your branding around all the time. What is the difference between HTS and the previous Incarnations, for example, Kia?
Okay, well, Kia Harlow was a joint venture which was partially owned by Kia and partially owned by Harlow Council. HTS is wholly owned by Harlow Council, but it's the trading arm. So in other words, it's a corporate entity that is owned by Harlow Council, which gives us a degree of autonomy with a commercial flavour to it, but at the same time it reports back to Harlow Council. So our immediate paymaster, if you like, the reporting line is back into a shareholder subcommittee which has elected members on it and officers on it, so it therefore reports straight back into the council and ultimately to the electorate.
Yeah, so that's the thing is you've always got your mind on the readers, not our readers, so not the readers, but the electorate, the residents of Harlow. Is that right?
Correct. And that's why when we were looking at the whole branding exercise, we genuinely believe that this organisation's success is based around proudly serving Harlow. And that's the brand, that's the mission that all of the staff here, the fantastic team of staff here that we've got, all stand behind, is that proudly serving Harlow.
When the idea was being developed, was there examples of, was it an original idea, or there was examples of good practice around the country? How did that?
Yeah, I mean, the setup is actually called a local authority trading company, a LATCO as it's often referred to in the trade. They've been around for some years. A lot of local authorities have set them up and not done much with them. Some have set them up and made very great success of it, off into all sorts of fields, covering both the property and environment that we do here and into healthcare and other services as well. So the model has been there and around for some time. The particular adoption of what we've done here in Harlow was obviously peculiar to Harlow, because prior to us it was a joint venture with Kia and Harlow Council.
You'll have what you call key performance indicators, but who judges you? Who are you assessed 6 monthly or a year? Or?
Yeah, we have quarterly meetings with our shareholder subcommittee. It comes through the board here first and then goes to the shareholder subcommittee, but that's measured against a whole range of key performance indicators. I think it's always dangerous in business that you can have a key performance indicator for everything, and I sort of tend to use that analogy in a car that, how often do you check the oil level in your engine? Well, actually, you'd probably check it when the light comes on. So it's almost by exception. But the key point is that you must have those performance indicators there being fed with data on hand to be used at any point, because ultimately it is a measure of return that we give to the council and to the community that is absolutely key.
How many people do you employ?
Just over 340.
And how do you make sure that all 340 are on board, feel valued? Do you have a corporate identity, so to speak?
We do, and part of that is and part of that whole health and safety approach as well is that we have quarterly meetings with all the staff. So we spend a morning, we start at 8 and we go right through to lunchtime, where we break the staff down into individual departments and across departments as well. And between the exec team and John and his team, we will actually meet with those staff.
And what about projecting forward? We're talking about 2 years now, but do you looking forward to the next year, 5 years, 10 years? How far can you look for ahead?
We have, a business plan. We clearly have a contract here in terms of delivering against a scorecard, a business plan that we have with the council today. Looking forward, yes, it's about using this opportunity, and it's almost a balance between not running and before you can walk, but I genuinely believe we are walking now, we are delivering the results, we are getting the feedback, we're getting a lot of plaudits in as well from residents and tenants of the properties, so that's all very positive. Looking forward though is crucial, because we have a model here that is working, and it's actually how we build on those foundations to deliver even more for Harlow in terms of services and quality of services.
What about criticisms? Are there criticisms or feedback that comes back now and again? You think, we really need to keep our eye on that?
There was initially, I must say, and there's things that you can be in control of and things you can't. And the initial statements were being, or comments, let's put it that way, that were being made, was that when we first started in the first few months was, there's Kia Harlow 2. In other words, we're just copying what was happened before. We really set our stall out to show the difference, to show this whole bit of proudly serving Harlow, of making certain that people understood that we are here, part of the community. There are things you can't control, and part of the reason for those statements, and I fully understand that, was that certainly I can't control the weather. You may be able to, I can't, and I can't therefore control the speed at which grass grows out and hedges grow and everything else. And at the particular time when those comments were being made, the grass was going bananas. It was absolutely growing beyond anything. And if you had in a business plan which was based on what you'd done previously, that you were cutting the grass once a month, once a fortnight, whatever, that was the business plan that we'd built the business on, because that was a replication of what the previous model was, in terms of structure. And suddenly the grass starts growing and you're still only cutting it once a month, you're going to have problems. And I'm sure in your own garden, if you cut your lawn once a month, there's a heck of a difference in finish as opposed to if you cut it once a week.
You just reminded me of something, actually, because I know that was a criticism people made sometimes, that you go to an area like Nicholsfield where the guy would turn up, it seemed to be, cut the upper field and then go away, and the lower field, and people those are the little things. I know you're a company, but these are the little things where people go, what's going on there? And I guess you take care of the minor matters, don't you? But they're important to people.
And also, I think in that, and one thing I've certainly had conversations with Brian and his team on the council, at the Harlow Council, was actually around, do people understand why that's occurring? Because there are parts of Harlow that I think is absolutely right, that we don't cut the grass. They are natural habitats. So let's build on those, let's keep them in that form, let's tell the community what sort of creatures and animals and things you've got in there. And then the rest of the grass that does need cutting, let's concentrate on that. But it's about messaging, a lot of that is. And again, if you look at traditionally what's happened, is that the way grass has been cut, this was under the joint venture, I'm not being critical of it, but that was fact, was that things like spraying around lampposts was cut back because it was something easy to do within the contract from a cost perspective. You don't change that overnight. The fact you go and spray something today, or not this time of the year, but in the summertime you go and spray something, it will work, but it will still come back. So you have to start building that back up again. It's the old liner ship analogy, the oil tanker. You don't just turn the wheel and it spins round on a halfpenny and goes back again. You have to start moving that. So part of our investment is in new equipment. We've now got trackers on our grass cutters, and so that we know where they are, we can look at the best effective journeys they're taking, the best effectiveness they've got in cutting grass, and so that again, value for money, that is being delivered into the community.
And when you're going into people's houses, these are people's castles, aren't they? Etc. Are you particularly conscious and sensitive interpersonal relations with people that when you're working repairing their house for the benefits? Is that an important part of what you do?
Absolutely crucial, because ultimately we are asking also, and one of the things that I personally, and I know the organisation and staff pride ourselves on, is that level of service and that relationship that we've got with the residents of tenants of these properties. Because ultimately, I believe, and I stand to be corrected, is that we probably as an organisation with our staff get in front of those tenants and residents more than anyone else in the town.
You're proud to be part of HTS?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's a fantastic organisation. Got a brilliant team of staff and senior management team and board of directors, and we're all wanting to make this deliver more and more effectively.